Set back, relax, and enjoy listening. SV rushes out of the hospital, panic and fear gripping her heart. She runs down the streets, without thinking, calling out for her mom. As she reaches the main road, she thinks, maybe mom got into an auto. Maybe she's somewhere, waiting for me to find her. She keeps running, even as her energy starts to fade. Her voice grows hoarse from screaming, but still, there's no sign of her mother. Then, by the side of the road, an empty plot looms ahead, a valley dipping just beyond. SV sees someone standing, slowly with trembling legs. She walks toward the figure. As she steps closer, the shape becomes clearer, and finally, she realizes it's her mother. SV's face softens with relief. She rushes forward, wrapping her arms around her mother. Tears start to fall freely, soaking her mother's shoulder. She can't hold back any longer. Her mother, standing still, quickly wipes her own tears, hiding her emotions. She doesn't return the hug. This is for her future, she tells herself, her heart breaking at the sight of her daughter's pain. She wants nothing more than to hold SV, to comfort her, but she remains motionless, knowing what must be done. Feeling the lack of response, SV pulls back, her voice shaking. Mom, please, listen to me. She sniffles, trying to compose herself. I'm really sorry. I don't know why you're upset, but we can fix this. I promise. Just, please don't leave me. Please. Her voice cracks, and she breaks down again, sobbing hard. Seeing her daughter's desperate plea, her mother's heart shatters, but she steels herself. With a heavy heart, she speaks in a calm, cold voice. Are you sure? Will you do whatever I ask? SV, hearing her mother finally speak, wipes her face quickly, a spark of hope in her eyes. Anything. I'll do anything, Mom. Just tell me. Her mother pauses, her words weighing heavy in the air. Get married to the person I choose. The world stops for SV. She freezes, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew deep down that this was coming, but hearing it still shakes her to the core. Her breath catches in her throat. Marriage! It feels worse than death. Her mother sees the hesitation, the struggle, and tries to pull her hand back, ready to leave. But SV instinctively grips her hand tighter. No, she thinks, I can't lose her like this. I'll do it, she whispers, barely audible. Her mother stops, surprised. SV forces herself to continue. I'll marry whoever you want, Mom. If that's what it takes for you to stay, I'll do it. Tears brim in her eyes again, but she fights them back. You've always known what's best for me. Even when I didn't understand. If this is what you want, I'll do it. Just don't leave me. Her mother's eyes widen, a mixture of shock and relief flooding through her. She didn't expect SV to agree so quickly. For a moment, she's speechless. But when SV takes her half-held hand and holds it tightly, pleading, Please, Mom, please don't leave me. She can't hold back any longer. Tears fall from her eyes as she embraces her daughter, hugging her tightly for the first time since they met tonight. She whispers through her tears, You'll love him, darling. He's a good man. He'll take care of you, I promise. He's everything I could have wished for you. SV, however, doesn't care about the man her mother speaks of. At this moment, the only thing that matters is that her mother isn't leaving her. She lets out a shaky breath, feeling her body grow weak with exhaustion. As they pull back from the hug, SV feels the world spinning around her. The dizziness takes over. She stumbles, her legs giving out beneath her. But before she can fall, her mother catches her. SV, what's happening? Her mother cries out, panic rising in her voice. But SV can't answer. She feels her consciousness slipping, her breath shallow and weak. Her mother shakes her gently, calling for help, but the streets are empty. Just as her mother is about to fall under her daughter's weight, a pair of strong arms appear from the darkness. Her mother looks up, startled, and sees RK. Without a word, he lifts SV into his arms, holding her close. He glances at her mother, then back at SV, realizing how faint her breathing is. Without wasting another second, he rushes her to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor is treating SV, who is still unconscious. RK and SV's mom watch from outside the window, with SV's mom crying hard. RK, even more serious this time, doesn't understand why he's just standing there, silently watching SV from a distance. After some time, the doctor steps out. I told you not to give her stress and make sure she eats properly. But both SV's mom and RK are tense upon hearing this. SV's mom is still speaking in a low voice when she stops abruptly, realizing RK is talking. But what doctor? She's fine, right? RK asks with urgency. Sensing RK's worry, the doctor replies, "Don't worry, sir. She's fine this time, but I don't think we can do anything if this continues. You need to make sure she doesn't stress and eats on time." RK, more determined, responds, "Don't worry, doctor. I promise this won't happen again. I'll take care of it." The doctor smiles slightly and says, "I think this is what she needs more than anything right now." RK, confused, asks, "What? What do you mean, doctor? I don't get it." The doctor just smiles at both of them and walks away. RK tries to ask again, but the doctor is already gone. Confused, RK and SV's mom exchange a look as a nurse comes out and says, "You can see her now. She might regain consciousness at any moment." Upon hearing this, SV's mom and RK are about to enter the room to get a closer look at SV, but RK hesitates. Reality hits him as he remembers his complicated relationship with SV, how much she hates him. RK thinks, "How can I go in there like this? What if she wakes up? She still hates me." He remembers what the doctor said about not giving her stress. How will she react if she sees me? Taking a step back, he mutters, "How can I go in there?" SV's mom notices his hesitation and asks, "What happened, son?" RK, in a hurry to avoid explaining everything, replies, Auntie, you go ahead. I'll go buy some food for her, as the doctor said she needs to eat, right?" Without waiting for her reply, he leaves. Outside, RK leans his full weight against the hospital wall, closing his eyes as memories flood back. Memories of every tense moment with SV, her anger, her coldness, the way she looked at him with disdain. He recalls the time how all of this started, how he held her hand to stop her from punching the reporter, and then again when he tied his handkerchief around her bleeding hand. He remembers the reporter asking about him, and how furious she became, cutting her hand just because of that question. As the memories flood in, he mumbles to himself, "How is this person even going to spend a day with me? Forget about," he was about to say, life, when he suddenly realizes, "Why am I even thinking all this? There's no point. I'm doing all this because she saved my life, nothing more. Her mom thinks I can take care of her, and that's why I'm doing this, nothing more than that." Shaking off the thoughts, RK straightens himself and heads out to buy food for her. Inside the room, SV's mom sits next to her daughter, gently placing her hand on SV's head. Crying softly, she whispers, "Don't worry, my daughter. From now onwards, you'll never have to go through anything like this alone."